first, and we'll get Honorable Zulu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My name is Netlantla Sibiya, as highlighted, the Senior Manager on the audit. I just want to give clarity on Resolution 94 stroke 2023. I see the response that was provided by the department with regards to the disagreement. I just want to highlight that to the committee that this matter is now currently in court. The Department of Education has actually sued the Auditor General on this matter. It's still a material irregularity as reported, but that's where we are in terms of this matter. I see that it was not captured in the response. Thank you.
Let me get this right. So the department is now suing the AG. Mr. Sibiya, if you can just tell us, because I understand the court matter, we're not really going to discuss, but what are you being sued for?
Maybe because the HOD is here, he can maybe provide more details on it. Thanks.
Okay. Now, Chair, if I can come in, it's not suing like in the true sense of suing somebody. It's basically saying us being in disagreement with the finding on material irregularity, and we are seeking a review. But it's seeking a review, really. I don't know whether legally you call that suing. But the matter is under discussion, and I think we must end it there because the AG's legal representatives have written to us to say that the review application that we have submitted may still be discussed, and we are amenable to us sitting down and discussing it with the AG. That's where we are around that review application that we were instituting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ngobo, just some clarity. Are you or are you not in court with the AG? This is what I want to know, because now you are saying discussion.
No, we are not in court. We had submitted an application, but the matter has not been set down in court yet. The matter is still open to be discussed outside court, and that's what the AG has requested, and we are amenable to that as a department.
Okay, but you have actually filed for the matter in court, even though it has not been set down yet. You filed.
Yes, for the review. Yes, for the review of the decision.
Okay, I'm glad the chair of the portfolio committee is here. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I think there must be some discussion, because we're saying that one arm of government is taking the other arm of government to court. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't want to go into the details of it, but I would strongly advise that this thing be discussed in the province. The portfolio committee needs to be brought on board, and I'm not sure what the provincial legal people have to say about it. But let's leave it at that. We're noting this. It's not a happy state of affairs at all. So let me now go to, and Ms. Sibiya, I think you've heard the discussion. Right, let me now go to Honorable Kika, then to Honorable Zulu. Proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not sure if I'm clearly audible, because I'm in a place where, unfortunately, there's some noise that is unavoidable. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are, Dr. Kika. To me.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairperson, the last conversation between yourself, the HOD, and the AG is something indeed very concerning, and I think your direction that the Education Portfolio Committee that is present also discusses it, I think is absolutely vital. It comes as an absolute surprise and in fact shocking that the matter is, no matter how you skirt around it, a matter before the courts. So for a review or for whatever it is that this situation has arisen. Let me start with my first point. Most of them are comments, Madam Chairperson, rather than questions. And the thing is that the department's over expenditure is excessively concerning. I mean, we can all agree with this. the sentiment I think is universal. That the COE is indeed 88%, as you had stated, and has a profound knock-on effect on the operational expenditure, to the extent that we have recently heard that there was this flip-flopping on the NSNP matter, where even a conditional grant granted by the national government might even be impacted for some reason or the other. 532.49 million rand staff debt outstanding. This seems to be far from resolution. This is like a can that keeps on being kicked up the street. It is a blight that remains on the department's finances. And we must note that in as much as the acknowledgement of debt is noted, we must also question and wonder about the legality of this way it is signed in advance. The salary overpayments that were avoidable, according to the presentation, and that were not, is simply not acceptable. We can't just gloss over this and accept that this is happening without questioning why it is happening. There must be a timeline on consequence management, and it cannot be that this department continues to appear before SCOPA.
Honorable Kika?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Do you serve on the Education Portfolio Committee?
I do, but I'm here in SCOPA.
Yes, because what I want to say is, with your other hat,
Yes.
it would be good if these issues were raised in the Portfolio Committee before they get to SCOPA, but proceed.
Thank you very much. The overpayments that were reported on from the early resignations of the PYI-EI is another one that should have alarm bells ringing. Madam Chairperson, on that note, the question that you asked me, the Portfolio Committee hasn't met in a long time. And despite attempts to ask the Portfolio Committee to meet over urgent matters, it is falling by the wayside. Many parts.
Okay, on that one, Honorable Kika, remember all parties sit in the programming committee, and the programming committee agrees on the program. Parties include your own, but we're not going to bring those issues here. Continue.
Sure. Many parts remain moving in some direction or the other. However, the pace at which these resolutions are moving at the moment seem tortoise-like, and that is a general comment. The ferry boats do indeed remain a concern. Previously, we were told that the issue was being resolved, and it simply appears as if we are now being just told another story or the other. The Pasina matter, I think you've covered, Madam Chair, and again, you've also raised the issue of the SIU not being paid. It shouldn't be a discussion in this meeting about that. I think it's simply following legal and lawful processes. Money is owed by the department to the SIU, they should pay it. And what the SIU owes the department can be dealt with through lawful and legal processes. And then lastly, Madam Chairperson, I'm quite concerned that the MEC has, for whatever reason, decided through an apology or otherwise, still decided not to attend such a crucial meeting. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Honorable Kika. Honorable Zulu.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Greetings to your good self, colleagues and staff members, both from the Legislature and Department of Education. Also, greetings to our fellow colleagues from Education Portfolio. Chairperson, let me start by at least a good note to say we, as KwaZulu-Natal, we are still thankful to the department. There are a number of stakeholders that have been mentioned with regards to NSC results 2023. But we want to put an emphasis to the committee that we really appreciate their work, particularly the other part of the legislature work, which is oversight. Their commitment is not going unnoticed. So, siyabonga kakhulu Chairperson Dolo. But Chair, I think most of the issues you have covered. The more the presentation, the more the questions. It leaves the whys, the how, and the what whenever they are presenting. I'm just checking if Department of Education is saying they are being owed by SIU. SIU is owing them, and for me, two wrongs do not make any right. They must pay the SIU, but obviously they must demand what SIU is owing to them. But to not to pay them, it does not resolve the matter. But secondly, I've also noticed on the issue of the staff debt, the issue of the terms and conditions, the legal part of it. Maybe we really need to talk to the committee to say they must also consider that if I'm an employee, do I go for a financial institution when I need some loan, or do I come to the employer? But also then we can be guided by the policy. I think it's a policy matter. But in number of meetings, most of the departments, we have noticed that they are owing the sister department, which is Public Works, and Department of Education also is not an exception in the matter. We are appealing that they need to comply so that we are able to render services. We have made mention of the service provider. They are, for them to say service provider is owing, they are owing service provider 128 M, and they've paid a certain portion. From where I'm seated, they are saying indeed the service was provided. This is one of the challenges with SNNP. We are appealing that maybe in the next, obviously the next term, I assume, but at least if they can kind of deal with their financial standing. The department seems to leave some of the matters believing that money will come from somewhere, but they must utilize what they have and not, financial challenges are there. So we are appealing that they put some measures to control what they have so that services are delivered to our people. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thanks, Honorable Zulu. Can I request that both you and Honorable Kika put your hands down unless there are follow-ups? Honorable Kika, are you doing a follow-up?
No, Madam Chair, it's an old hand.
Look, I think that we can go round and round. We've raised the issues. I'm glad the chairperson of the portfolio committee is here. Excuse me, I'm choking. The chair of the portfolio committee is here. He has seen the issues we are raising. A lot of these must go back to the portfolio committee. I don't know how many of them. I don't even know if these responses were run by the committee, because the SCOPA responses to SCOPA resolutions are supposed to be a standing item on portfolio committee agendas. But in any event, I think that this meeting has raised more questions than answers, as we can see. Personally, I'm not seeing too much by way of movement. And I don't think it's enough for a department to sit there and say that our budget is overspent, and it's being said almost with the knowledge that it will be overspent again and again and again. And it's not acceptable. What we want to see is, how do you, I've seen some of the measures you put in place to say how you're cutting down costs. I think you saved about 400 million, but you're not following the debt collection, which is large. You're not reducing irregular expenditure. You're not cutting the frills and the fancies enough. And I think those are things that have to be done. I think there has to be a proper deployment of your staff, the staff that you do have. I think there has to be greater accountability around that. I think you've got to look at your use of buildings. There are many schools where half the school is used. In my own constituency, I visited schools, and I find that the campus is half used. There must be plans that you should be looking at as to how you rationalize and kind of make the buildings more productive, be it adult basic education or computer training. You know, the 4IR and all of that are important factors right now, coding and things, and at least get those buildings used more by the communities, perhaps generate some income, I don't know. But certainly the department has to come with a better plan. You can't say the only reason you get year in and year out with SCOPA is our compensation of employees bill is too high. It's been too high for well on 15 or 20 years now. I can see somebody else's hand up. I'm not sure who this is. AG. Okay, fine.
Yes. Thank you so much for recognizing me, and I do apologize for coming through late. Honorable Chair, I just wanted to one small one matter. I'm not going to call it small. Just sorry. Before I carry on, it is Nomalungelo Mkhize, the business unit leader in the KZN office of the AGSA. Just one matter that I just wanted us to clarify in the recordal of the response to the resolution around the National School Nutrition Program. Just for recording purposes, I think there was mention to the fact that the office of the AGSA had not responded verbally nor written to correspondence. And I just wanted to say that there has been correspondence, including written, from the communication of findings right through to where we are now. So I'm not going to go back to that resolution and the resolution that the committee has taken, but it was just to clarify that we have made responses in writing from the communication of findings in the management report. But also post that in dealing with the material irregularity in terms of letters of correspondence between ourselves and the department. So I just wanted to correct that for the purposes of in recording and also engaging further on the matter going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mkhize. There's this thing about being economical, right? I won't finish the rest of it, but I think the department has been quite economical. We've seen that also with the issue of payment to the SIU, and we're not going to labor all of these things. But let's just say, in concluding, because colleagues, I don't see any more hands. I think we've said and raised concerns that we have, and there are serious concerns because this department, Health and Social Development, are absolutely crucial departments to the people of this province. The services that they deliver cannot be replaced. So they need to be dealt with responsibly and sensibly. And I think that Treasury must come in and literally hold this department's hand to ensure that it's able to manage itself better in terms of its finances and so that the services occur. It's extremely worrying, more than worrying, to hear that 88% goes on salaries and 12% on operational matters. You can't be a department that's an employment agency. You're a service delivery department. And education is one of the key services that have to be delivered. So there's got to be something different. And I think on that note, colleagues, with your permission, let me close this hearing.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
And thank you very much. Have a good Easter weekend, everyone, and be safe.
Thank you, Chair.
Same to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair and members.